Good morning and welcome to a little tour of my tiny French farmhouse.
20 years ago, our family moved from England to Spain. It was never our plan, although our family gained a new member.
What a gorgeous day.
Bonjour!
Bonjour!
We are in France. Together, we navigate life's challenges. Welcome to my new house. It's awesome.
It's the biggest undertaking I've ever done in my entire life.
Please join us on our adventure in rural France.
13 eggs from our 16 chickens.
As we make a life, not just a living. Welcome to Picard Home.
This is our kitchen dining room. This actual room is the original house. When it was built, it was just this one room and one room upstairs. So I think it would have been quite cramped for the average French farmer family living in such a small space. But luckily for us, we've been able to expand. When we originally bought the house, we had no water, no electricity, no septic system. And it was pretty, if I'm honest, it was pretty bleak. And one of the first things we did was install a wood-burning stove. And we've also got some photographs of this as we originally bought it when I started working on it. And this whole stone area was completely black. And somebody at some stage in its life had put a terracotta frame across here with terracotta tiles to stop the smoke being blown back into the room, because it had originally an open fire, and here is a little hook that used to put the cooking frame on that you could lift up and down to lower the pot onto the fire and lift it back up again. So we sort of removed all the terracotta work and the metal. We've put a wood burning stove in, which is actually sacrificial because we were in such a rush to get some heat into the place. We installed it knowing that we couldn't connect it to water, and over time it would burn the tubes out inside. So luckily for us, we've actually bought another one. We've got a brand new one ready to go in place. When we fit the heating system, we will obviously replace the stove, but this stove won't go to waste because we'll actually strip it all down into its parts and keep it for spares. And the door we have here for the oven, we're going to move this across to here, because this is just an old fire back. It's all cast iron. It's from 1712, and we're going to move this across because what happens is this heats up through the day, and at night time, if we let the stove go out, this actually soaks up loads of heat and emanates back into the room at night time. Behind it is an old bread oven, and we're going to put the door from the old stove onto the bread oven to make a warming oven. So basically we've got like a proofing oven for our bread, because my wife loves to cook and she loves to bake fresh bread. So we're going to put a door on there, move this across, and then gives us a beautiful fireplace, which we didn't know existed when we bought the house. It was a complete shock when I took all the terracotta down, and it was just full of soot, and all the beams and everything were super sooty. So moving on now. So we've got our wood burning stove there, which is also a hot plate and an oven. We have now, for summertime, we have a 5-ring gas hob with a huge oven. And again, my wife loves to cook, and she cooks everything from scratch. And here we have a ceramic cooktop, which we can use with our solar system in summertime. We don't generally get enough sunshine in winter to be able to use this all year round, but we don't actually need this when we've got the wood burning stove running, which heats the house. And also the wood burning stove will heat all our radiators, and it produces gallons and gallons of hot water once it's all plumbed in. But we've still a lot to do. But luckily for us, even though we've just got this one heat source, the whole house, even at its most extremities, never gets below 20 degrees. We've had it minus 12 outside, and it's always been kind of, you walk in and it's always toasty warm. These light fittings, we actually bought them before we bought the house. We went to an antiques market, and the guy that was selling them said he just wanted rid of them really quickly. So we bought them, and we cheekily asked him, even though he wanted rid of them quickly, we asked him if he could store them. And we also bought the sink at the same time. So he ended up, even though he wanted to get rid of them quickly, he ended up looking after them for us anyway. And we went back 5 months later to pick them up so we could install them. So yeah, so that's our cooking taken care of. We have a huge big table, which we got from a neighbour of ours, actually. And it was actually longer than this. It was another ½ metre longer at both ends. It was huge. And we've put it on casters. Eventually I will cover the top in stainless steel to make a proper chef's kitchen. Again, another brocante find. We got it at the same time as the lights. And this thing is absolutely huge. You could literally have a bath in it. I don't know how old it is. Originally it wasn't a sink. It was either a planter or just a huge basin. I don't know what they used it for. Your guess is as good as mine. But I've modified it. I've put a plug in it, a tap, and now it's our kitchen sink, and it's absolutely superb, especially when it comes to harvest time. When we come in with a load of potatoes, a load of dirty potatoes from the garden, we can wash them all and we can put them away nice and dry and clean. Same with all our fruit and veg. It all gets washed in there. We can then transpose it onto the table, dry it all off, and it works a treat. This little milk kit, I bet many of you will kind of remember these. These in England used to be quite big ones with a big lid on. Before they had milk tankers, the milk used to be stored in these by the farms before it could be bottled. You notice we don't have a modern style kitchen. The kitchen is laid out as it is because it works beautifully. The kitchen worktops are higher, and this worktop is much higher. Right? I'm 6'2". My wife, she's only 5 foot, but even she finds it much better to have high worktops. If you go, we went back to a friend of ours, and we were doing some cooking in their kitchen, and they had standard height worktops, and we literally came back with backache from being stooped over cooking, whereas these are raised up, they're much higher, and you can literally stand up straight and use it as use your chopping board and chop all and prepare your food. We have now a huge big oak wardrobe which came from the house in our hamlet. There's only 10 houses in our hamlet, and the people the children were selling the house, and they offered us this huge wardrobe, and this literally took 4 men to pick it up. It took me, Oliver, and two Dutch guys to actually move it. It's so heavy. And this forms the part of our kitchen. And it's all shelled out. And literally we have our crockery in the top, the food, flour, vegetables in the bottom, and it's a huge work store. It works really well. This is our replacement stove for the one that's sacrificial. It's sat on a pallet, it's all ready to go in, and later this summer when we turn all the heating off, because we have super warm summers, and we only use the wood burning stove maybe 7 months a year. For the rest of the time we don't actually need it because it's so warm. My wife fell in love with this chandelier. And even though we still have lots and lots of work to do, and obviously we've still got the ceilings to plaster, the safest place for a chandelier is where it's going to live. So basically, rather than leaving it in a box somewhere to get broken, we fastened it up and wired it up so now we can use it. This table won't be staying. I'm gonna make a big round circular table with a single pedestal. So we can fit more chairs around, we can have lots of people to come and eat, and it'll work out really well. That's why the chandelier isn't in the place for the table, because the table's not stopping. This is Max and Paddy, our day goose. Then again, we've got our bookshelf to keep our books on. This actually came from a local chateau, and it's beautifully made. So our next room is our snug. So this room didn't originally exist when the house was built. This is in a much more, well, it's not a modern extension, but it was built at a much later date. When we bought it, was open-sided, so when it rained, it leaked in, and the roof was totally rotten. So I've replaced the roof, and the open sides are now filled in, which we'll talk about later when we go upstairs. And yeah, it's made it's only a small room, but it's the snug, but he's super comfortable. We have our Godin stove, which, if I'm honest, it's a little bit overkill. Normally if we put it on only for an hour or so, and it stays warm for the rest of the day. If we keep putting wood on there, it becomes stifling here, it becomes actually too hot. The three-piece suite, right, it's pink Draylon. Originally when we bought it, I wasn't too keen on the sort of the granny aesthetic of it all, but it's unbelievably comfortable. It came from a restaurant, a friend of ours, Nellie. We just got in conversation with her. She said, "Oh, I have something in my garage that may kind of give you interest. Come and have a look." And like I said, I looked at it and thought, not really my style, but as soon as I sat on it, that's it. It's so comfortable, and it's literally like brand new. It really is nice. We've got some of my dad's artwork. My dad passed away last year. We had a trip back to England for obvious reasons, and my mum gave us some of my dad's artwork. And another one there, an otter on the wall there. And what is nice about this room is, at the end of the day, we can go and have a shower, we can come in, we can have a glass of wine, chill out, and it's nice not to kind of live in a building site, because we've had so much work to do. We needed one place that's semi-finished. All right, it's not finished by a long way, but it is clean, it is comfortable, and it's really pleasant on a freezing cold winter's night to have the stove lit for a little while, and it's toasty warm in here. So this big wardrobe we have here, we store in there like DVDs and books and all the things you don't know where to put when you're working in a building site. So all our things that we need to keep nice and clean and dust free all go into this wardrobe. It's made of chestnut, and it came from a friend of ours who lives over in the next village. We have the little boxes there we've also got from a brocante. Same again, there's magazines and books stored in there. So yeah, it's made a really, really comfortable, really, really nice room. All right, it's petite, but it's perfect for two of us. And even when Oliver and Miriam come round, there's more than enough room for us all to sit down and have a conversation and a glass of wine, and it's worked out really well. So this is the other side of the snug from a different perspective. The room is quite an odd shape, as you might gather from the film. This end of the snug is a little bit narrower than that end. We have at the moment we have a polycarbonate window. These will be all the doors and windows are going to be replaced. Over time, I'm going to get the workshop, go in the workshop upstairs. I'm going to make brand new oak windows and doors. I'm going to have all the doors clear glass. So we've got 3 doors. So this one, the main kitchen door, and then another door in the office, which we can then open up in summertime. So we can like kind of live inside out. And it makes a really bright and airy house. So now we're back in our kitchen dining room, and our next room is our office space and downstairs bathroom. Originally this doorway didn't exist. I knocked through this wall into what was the original stables and barn that's attached to the house. So this is our office area leading off the dining room kitchen. Originally when we bought this house, this was part of the stable and barn. Here was a crumbling down wall, and above it was a hayloft, and all this ceiling part had all collapsed down, and it was in a terrible state. So what we originally did then is rebuilt the wall, put the floor back in again upstairs, which then gave us the first floor of our workshop area. So we've got a garage downstairs, and then we've got a further workshop area upstairs, which then gave us a really nice space. So this is kind of a bonus room. I can't play piano whatsoever, but my wife can, thankfully. So yeah, we've got our piano there that's came from a farmer neighbour who had it surplus to requirements. So yeah, it's made a really, really pleasant room. And the same again with the big mirror. This big mirror, we'd actually built this wall and fit the door casing and everything. And then a neighbour of ours says, "Oh, I have a huge mirror. Would you like it?" So we went and measured it up, and it fits perfectly. It's almost like it was fitted and designed to fit here. It just fits beautifully. And it makes the room even more light and airy. The house is south facing, and once again we'll be replacing all the doors with double glazed glass doors. So in winter time, when the sun's low in the sky, it literally pours light and heat into the house. It's a really pleasant place to be. And in summertime, when the sun is much higher, it offers plenty of shade, which is really nice because we get 30 degrees here. Plus in summertime, so it makes the whole house really warm and sunny in winter and nice and cool in summertime. The desk came from a brocante not far from here, and it's worked out really, really well. It fits in the room really well. We've got that's our bathroom mirror. We've got a wardrobe here that we use for all our outdoor clothing, our raincoats and our overalls and things like that when we've been working in the garden. Here we have our central heating system. Well, part of it at least, our radiators. These are cast iron radiators, which we've picked up over time as we've travelled around our local area, with brocantes and places like that. Even the local scrapyard takes in obviously scrap metal. We walked in one day, and the local car scrapyard had a bunch of radiators which we managed to pick up for scrap value. So yeah, these are going to be, I'm going to love it and restore these because they are really nice. So as we go around doing the heating system, we'll then finish off all the rooms, because obviously we spent a long time just trying to get things in place. When you start off with nothing, and you're working with an old building, it takes quite a lot of working out, because obviously you've got to move things around constantly. And so you can obviously, you've got to put your water system in, you've got to do all your electrics, and the house was never designed to have electricity in. When we originally bought the house, it had one light bulb, and in fact, an electricity box was so old I'd never seen one before. And it had no power to the house whatsoever, so it had one light bulb and one water pump, which obviously fitted in the maybe 1920s and 1930s. So then it was completely uninhabitable. So what we've tried to do over this time is get it up to a habitable stage, and then we can go around later and make it into a really, really comfortable home. So moving on from our office area, we have our downstairs bathroom. In our bathroom we have a washing machine, we have a urinal. I don't know why all bathrooms don't have a urinal. Because, you know, people fit bidets and things like that they never use. And having a urinal is a wonderful thing because it stops all the arguments about who left the toilet seat up. We have a composting toilet, obviously our sink. And again, our sink height is much, much higher. It's a really deep sink, when you turn the tap on, unlike a modern sink, when you turn the tap on, you normally get wet pants and wet feet because the sinks aren't deep enough. This one's nice and deep, and they're teeny tiny little windows, originally designed obviously for the stables. They didn't have glass in originally, so we've put temporary glass in just to keep the wind out. But obviously we've got our nice big shower. We have a rainfall shower, which is really nice, obviously hot and cold, it's nice and warm. With another window here, teeny tiny. You know, it's almost like the old castle keep, you know, where the ones that you would fire your bow and arrow through. Super small, but they let in an enormous amount of light. So yeah, it's a really serviceable bathroom. Obviously it needs finishing. But it's all here and it all works. I wasn't too keen on having a composting loo, but it actually works really well, especially with the urinal. Because obviously being a man, you need to sit down to go to have a wee. So on any toilet really. But having the two works out really, really well, and they don't smell. You know, I assume the composted loo is going to smell, and it's going to be not very hygienic. Well, that couldn't be further from the truth. They are really nice to use. They don't smell whatsoever, and you're not wasting literally thousands of gallons of water a year by flushing a toilet, because you're basically using drinking water to flush your loo, where in this case you're not. So all the water being off-grid, all the water we get from our well, we're literally using our sinks and bathrooms, and then it goes through the grey water system and back into the garden. So literally we're not using the water, we're just borrowing it for a while. It's time to move upstairs. So this is our bedroom. It's a carbon copy of the room downstairs, our kitchen dining room downstairs. This is the same size room. We've got two small windows which are north facing, and we have the big windows at the front which are obviously south facing, which makes this room into a super bright, airy place, even in the depths of winter. It's a really pleasant place to be. Obviously we've still got lots and lots of restoration work to do, with all the lime mortar to do on the walls, and new windows, new window glass, tons and tons to do. So all those will be coming up in future videos. Our furniture, we've got our French bed, which is incredibly comfortable. We have a set of drawers here. I've already run the electricity through. We're going to finish the walls in natural lime, natural white lime finish, in keeping with the building. We've already put our electrics in. We've got our plug sockets here, our light switches here. We've run the electricity through copper pipes, which you might find quite unusual, but it's much easier to, in the future, it's much easier to, if the house needs to be rewired or additional wiring, you know, it's not a dirty job to rewire the house. Otherwise you are cutting all the plaster out to pull the wires through, and we didn't want any of that. This room is super bright and super airy. Even in the depth of winter, it's a really, really pleasant place to be. So we've got our two big south-facing windows, which let in tons and tons of light. And I've also fitted internal shutters. Normally on a French house, the shutters are on the outside. But in the middle of winter, it means you've got to, unless they're modern ones, it means you've got to open the windows to shut the shutters, which kind of defeats the object of trying to keep the house warm. So I fitted internal ones, which just add, at the moment, that extra thermal layer, which keeps the room nice and warm I'm literally going to make new double glazed windows in our workshop next door. So all the windows will be replaced but by plain glass windows, so that'll let even more light in. In fact, I can't wait to get started. We've also got a burr walnut box here, a little burr walnut cupboard where I keep my watches. In summertime, late in the afternoon, the light streams through these windows, which is really, really pleasant. So yep, on we go to our ensuite bathroom. So this is our ensuite bathroom. Obviously it's still a work in progress. As I talked about earlier, our snug being an odd shape, what happened is, because the snug's an odd shape, the roof is also a really odd shape. It's much narrower at that end than this, and the head height tapers down. But there's still plenty of room, plenty of head height. This room didn't exist before. Like I say, it was open, the sides were open, and basically they kept firewood in here to keep it dry. But the wind used to blow through. But now I've made new walls. These are massively insulated. This one and the ceiling are super insulated. And I've squared the room off by putting a partition wall down there, which now leaves lots of space behind there for storage. You know your Christmas trimmings, your things you don't use all the time. Obviously I've got to put 2 new doors on, there and there. So that'll then make a really pleasant, really nice, comfortable bathroom. Obviously we've got, this bath was a present from my lovely wife. I'd seen one of these on All Things on Sharp, the TV series, and Sharp was having a bath in a copper bath. So this is copper nickel, and it is super nice. It's really deep, and it's more than big enough for 2 people. So to complement the copper bath, we have also a copper sink, which is again adapted from, it's like a jam making, it's a very French jam making copper with little brass handles. So that's another really deep sink we've got. Obviously I'm going to modify it so we can use it as a sink. So we've still got the drainage to put in here. The bath is already plumbed in. The bath works, the bath functions perfectly, but I've still got to do the sink, the urinal and the composting toilet. Yeah, still lots and lots of work to do. This will be, I've got to point the wall, and then I'm going to insulate it, and then it's going to have plasterboard on. It's all going to be skimmed. The whole top's going to be skimmed and painted white. We've an extractor to put in there yet. Obviously, because you can't have a bathroom without some sort of extraction. The mirror that's currently leant on against our bedroom wall will fit here. And let's say for an ensuite, there is tons and tons of room. The bath is, I love this bath, it's superb. We've got these special bulbs, which make a really, really soft ambient light. We've got the downstairs bathroom, which is kind of all business and super bright. And this is just a more romantic space where you can come up, you can have a nice bath, a glass of wine while sat in your bath. Really, really nice romantic space, which complements the bedroom, because it's only for two of us. So we've got more than enough space. So moving on from our bedroom is another space. This is a complete bonus space. When we bought the house, we didn't even know this existed. So this is our attic space. This didn't actually exist when we bought the house. Originally these houses had thatched roofs, and they kind of had a false roof here. So maybe the attic space was only about this high. And when we came in, you literally had to crawl on your hands and knees in, and this whole area, all this floor area, was covered in cob, which is a mixture of like clay and straw, which is what they used to use to actually insulate the house. It took weeks and weeks to actually remove all the clay and straw, and it had like small oak planks, right, which you could barely stand on. So all that had to be removed. We had to clean everything all up. We've now fit another floor. We've levelled up all the beams underneath, and we've ended up with a huge big attic space that we didn't originally have. It's super insulated, and I'm going to put another level of insulation on top of this to make it ultra insulated. At the moment we've got all our clothes in boxes. What we will be doing is I'm going to make wardrobes that come from here down with lots of doors, so we can basically have hanging space all down this side, all down that side. So all these boxes will then disappear, and we'll have lots and lots of hanging space. Same again on this side. Lots of doors, lots of big doors, and a rail. And so all our nice clothes can be hung. All our shoes can be out of the way. And that'll then leave this central area, which is bigger than the rug, as a TV and cinema room. I'm going to put a big TV on that wall there, so we can watch our favourite DVDs and YouTube. It's made a fantastic room. It's made a small house, what we originally thought was smaller than it actually is, into a much bigger house. We've got our two little windows, which are north-easterly facing, so they don't get direct sunlight in. So all our soft furnishings won't get attacked by the sun, but it does leave a really nice ambient light. And it's, like I say, we've super insulated it. I'm going to put another layer on top, and that's like the hat on top of the house. Still got, then it'll have to be plasterboarded, skimmed, painted, light fixtures fitted. Here we've got our very French settee, which we're also going to be doing a video on. I'm going to reupholster this because it has seen better days, and it even had a small mouse's nest in the back of it when we bought it. So we've since cleaned it all off, and we're going to be doing a video where we reupholster this. Got our big mirror, which is actually, this mirror came from a brocante, and it's actually a wardrobe door. But the mirror was so beautiful we couldn't resist it, and it's made as a dressing room come TV room. It's made a really nice, comfortable space. We've done the bare bones now, so it's nice now. We want to move on to the good stuff. You know, get all the fittings and the finishing work and turning what's basically was a derelict farmhouse into a luxury off-grid home. So that concludes our house tour. If you've liked these videos and you'd like to see more as we progress on with the houses, please click the subscription button and press the bell icon so you get notified of any future videos. Also, if you'd like to leave us a comment of what you've seen, please feel free to do so. Thank you. Thank you all for watching. Remember, make a life, not just a living. Bye-bye.